My guest today is one of the good ones. She is a board certified endocrinologist. She's helped build a program with Blue Circle Health that is revolutionizing what diabetes care is. And she's spent her entire career on the other side of the exam table, watching what happens when real people try to manage this thing. So today, I'm stealing her for the next hour to ask every single question every single one of us knows the answer to, and we still ignore it because we're talking about pre-bolusing. And this is Dr. Monica Gomberg from Blue Circle Health. She is about to become your favorite endocrinologist. This is your best T1D year.
Welcome to your best T1D year, the podcast that's a mix of habits, a couple of laughs you need. Maybe throw in some real sciencey stuff every once in a while, and there you go. Everything you need to live with type 1 diabetes and have some wins you can feel. Let's roll the episode.
You're the doctor, right? You're always the doctor. But when a doctor goes to the doctor, are you like a bad patient or are you a good patient? How do you handle that when you have to go to the doctor?
You know, I try to be the best patient possible.
Of course you do.
Not that there is a best patient possible, but I am like, sweet and respectful and like, please, is this okay?
Yeah. I wonder, because you're on the other side of it all the time, right? You see patients all the time and you're the one who's got to have it all together. But I wonder, like, when you go to the doctor, you just like let your hair down and just like, doc, help me. I don't know.
I do. It's funny. I do love being at the doctor. It feels like home for me, probably because I work there all the time. But it's like it's a nice place for me.
That makes sense. You are, I'm going to say this out loud, you are what I believe we're coining the term. We've done it for a while now behind the scenes, but I'm going to say it again. You are, in my mind, you're America's endocrinologist. That's just who you are. I'll put that on, I'll fly it from the back of a plane if I have to.
I don't know.
You're representing all of us. So I want you to have fun with this today because I kind of want you to be Dr. Gomberg at sometimes, but then also I kind of want you to be, you could be Monica at sometimes and really tell us the humanity side of all of this. You don't have to just be, I'm a clinician. So, here it is. Okay. I want to ask you this before we jump in, because we're going to talk about pre-bolusing. We're going to talk about what's going on with Blue Circle Health. We're going to talk about all of that. For anybody who's meeting you for the first time, who is Dr. Monica Gomberg when you're not being an endocrinologist? Because I've had the privilege of being around your family and they are sublime. Your family is incredible, but tell us who you are when you're not an endo. How about that?
Oh my gosh. I am a mom of two amazing kids. I have a 6 and a 3-year-old, and any mention of them, I will talk about them for the whole hour here, Neil. So let's do that. Okay. But yes, I am a mom and a wife and a daughter, and I help take care of my dad, and I am around. My mom helps with the kids all the time. Like that's just me. I'm also a yoga teacher and I love to work out and I love to be outside. We went camping a few weekends here this past month and I just love being with my family and exploring what's around me.
I didn't realize you teach yoga. How did I not know this?
I know. Well, we got to get a class going.
Oh my gosh. Start loosening up right now.
Loosen it up. Gosh. A little stretch, a little namaste.
Yeah, a little stretch, a little breathing. Okay. A little namaste. That's good. I have so much respect for you, and I have watched you work with people living with type 1 diabetes. And I've been in awe at one thing. I've told you this before, so this is no shock. You have so much compassion and empathy. And I'm not saying that that's rare for a doctor, but I think there's a lot going on with endocrinologists and healthcare right now when it comes to people living with type 1 diabetes specifically, because endocrinology is one of the lowest paid and least chosen specialties in all of medicine.
Yes.
There's am I right? It's like around 8,000 of you in the US.
Yes.
Like total.
Yes. Just over. And I believe that includes peds endo.
No
So
way.
yeah, there's not a lot of us whatsoever. And people are going to part-time and moving out of the field, and it's very hard. Yeah.
So you're a rare one out of all of the. Why on earth did you pick endocrinology in a field, in a specialty that is not typically at the top of people's list? What drew you to it?
Yeah, I mean, so if you went into endocrinology for the money, you were deceived on the way. But I certainly went into it for the passion and the love. I fell into an endocrinology rotation, and I didn't know what to expect. And I was like a day or two in before I was like, this is it for me. Because I love I went to medicine to take care of patients long term, to learn about them and their life and their family. And that is what endocrinology allows you to do. And it also allows you to be really intellectual and get into it with patients and try to figure things out, and dig through it and kind of dig through the muck of what's happened and what is happening, and really be there for them. So it just checked all of those boxes for me. And I continue to love it. And I'm really, really grateful to be doing it.
I believe you. I've seen you in action. You what people may not know is you left a thriving private practice as an endocrinologist, and you walked away from that.
Yes.
Not just to go over and join the Blue Circle Health team. You did it to help build.
Yes.
And that is it's brave, but like we always see people on the other side of these big decisions like that. I can't imagine the conversation that is in your head before you made that jump. What is going through your head when you're thinking about that?
Yeah, it was quite literally one of the hardest decisions of my entire life. It's because when you are on track of like, this is medical school and this is residency and this is fellowship and this is the job, and that's what you do and that's what's available. And so it was just this concept of, wait, but there could be something else. There could be something better for my patients. There could be something that allowed me to be a better doctor for them. That was a new concept and a rare concept. And there were so many times where people were like, hey, you can't do that. Why would you do that? So doing that was really hard. And it was the best decision I have ever made. And I remember there being one moment that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was talking with my partners, who I still adore and respect so incredibly much. And I was just saying like, well, we're all miserable here, right? And she's like, no, we're not. And I was like, oh, this is not right. This is not what it should be, because I was miserable that I was not helping patients in the way that I felt they deserved. And I could not get past just kind of scratching the surface. And I knew that we had to do better in our country, in our world, in our healthcare system. And so I allowed that door to close so that I can open this door at Blue Circle Health, which just allowed me to be part of making this a better place and advocating for what we all truly deserve in this healthcare system. And it's been life-changing. And I hope it's life-changing for our patients, because that at the end of the day is what it's all about.
What a surreal moment when you're reading the room and you go, oh wow, it's just me. It shouldn't be like this, right? It shouldn't have to be like this. Yeah.
Exactly. Oof. Yeah. And, for the longest time, I was actually, like I mentioned, I have 2 kids, and we talk about whatever they want to be when they grow up. I'll stand behind them and be so happy. But I thought if they wanted to be a doctor, I'd be sad for them, because I was like, this is not a good, not a good situation, not a good life. We all came to help people, and it's not really what it's about anymore, because of all the healthcare bureaucracy and the systems that are in place. And now I've reflected so many times of like, if they wanted to do this, my goodness, I would be so proud of them. And I would be so happy, because this is what healthcare should be. And this is what our patients deserve. And so it was life-changing in that sense.
Oh my gosh. When you see it through the eyes of your kids like that, like I would be disappointed, but if they could do it like this, that would be, we want that for our kids. I have, so my endo appointment is tomorrow at, I go about every 4 months. Okay. And, lately I've been trying to put myself in my doctor's shoes, when like the flip side of it, like to see, like they're seeing patients all day long, that maybe they get 10 to 15 with me, maybe. Right.
Right.
When from your standpoint, I don't want the endos to be the villains, because they're not, right? The system is the one that is sort of rigged. Like the endos, I think, genuinely want to help. Like what is something that you see being an endocrinologist that you think maybe patients completely misunderstand, or what you wish you could say out loud in every appointment? And maybe you do, but maybe not every endo does.
I think there's so much there, to be honest. I could see why we come across sometimes as the villain. And probably because we have 10 to 15 minutes and we're trying to get through. And I think one of the biggest things is this like concept of, because you have 15 minutes and I might be coming in I see this thing that's going to massively impact your health. And if I don't address it, I would feel like I'm not doing right by you. And I think that's a good thing. Like, I want to do right by you and I want you to be safe and healthy in the long term. But the patient's coming in with, rightfully so, as they should, an agenda of their own. And it's hard when you don't have time for all of that. And so oftentimes I feel like endos don't take the moment to be like, well, their agenda is the first and foremost important. And they just see like, I must tell them this. And then the 15 minutes is up. And so I think that is often what gets us into, I don't want to say trouble, but what often gets us into this, like, not being sensitive or not being the most like wonderful thing for the patient, because there's not enough time.
You don't have time for it.
There's not enough time. And it is a system problem, and it is something that we have to fix and we have to do better with as a whole in this country. But it often comes down to that relationship, and it needs to be built and it needs to have trust there. And if you can't have that, then there's nothing.
Yeah. I imagine you have like this front row seat to people who are either maybe at their most scared or they're most frustrated. Yes. How it has got to weigh something to you. You know what I mean? Like, you got to carry some of that. How do you manage that without letting it crush you in the process? Because that's got to be heavy, I would think.
It is. It is heavy. And I carry a lot for my patients, and I think of them way more than they know, I assume. And, I would love them to know that, but I think of them at night and on the weekends and when I'm at the playground with my kids, and I hope that they're doing okay. And it does take a lot home, but at the end of the day, it's an honor to be in that room, to be someone that they can trust, to be vulnerable with. And I'm truly just in awe of their strength and their capacity to take this on themselves. And so I often just think of how amazingly strong they are and what they're going through every day, and walk through that with them. And, that is my choice to take on. And I take it on with honor, because I think it's just an amazing thing to be in that room together.
That's probably where the yoga comes in at some point.
That is where the yoga comes in.
It has to, right?
Yes, it certainly does.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes.
No doubt. Okay, so we're in the middle of this whole pre-bolus challenge, right? I'm calling it the Head Start. You know what I mean? Wink, wink is like trying to get Head Start. Okay, so I'm not that smart, docs, but I got to come up with catchy names for it. So I want to talk about pre-bolusing for a second. If you could clearly define it, like in your own words, no jargon, like what is pre-bolusing and why does the timing matter so much?
Yeah, so it does matter as much as we wish that it didn't. But it matters because the way that we have insulin now, it doesn't work in the exact same manner and the exact same time that the meal is that you're eating. And so the meal that you're eating, the carbs in your system that are now in your body, will increase your blood sugar before insulin has the ability to do so. Insulin takes a little bit of time to work. And so in order to align that, you need to take the insulin before you have the carbs, the carb intake in your body, in order for it to work at the same time and prevent a big peak, and therefore prevent a big drop afterward, which I can talk a little more about too.
Yeah.
But it's just making sure that those are in alignment.
Okay. So is it safe to say that the food is typically faster than the insulin?
Typically, pure carbs are going to work faster than the insulin. I know people are listening to this and be like, Dr. Gomberg, that's not always the case.
Right.
Yes, there are certainly variability in meals and proteins and fats, and that's a whole other hour discussion that we can certainly talk about. Right. But as a general rule, you're going to see the food, the carbs work quicker than the insulin.
Okay. It's so wild because I think there's such a misconception when you bolus, right? If you're on injections, like as soon as you inject or as soon as you tell your pump, give me the insulin, we think, okay, that's in there, that's doing its job. And it takes a while for it. The thing that fascinates me, Doc, is I think the majority of people know about, or let's say this, they know they should pre-bolus, but almost none of us do it consistently. And I'm trying to figure out why that is, because I'm sure there's fear, there's I forgot, or there's I don't know. Like, is that, which one of those do you run into the most?
Honestly, I do think it's all of the above, but I think the most common is I like to think of the example of I take vitamin D every day. I don't get any sunshine here in Pittsburgh and need some vitamin D in my system. And how many days do I actually take it? I don't know, 3, 4, because I go to take it and then my kids are whining that the other kid took their stuffy and I have to go deal with them. And then I have to feed the dog and then work starts. And no one's going to call me a terrible person for it. No, it's just life. Life happens. And so the best of intentions, I think that's a lot of my patients of like, I know I have to do it, but like life happened. Understandable. And so there's that. And I would also say there's probably a quick second is a lot of fear of low blood sugars, what we call fear of hypoglycemia, which is very, very common and incredibly understandable due to very real trauma that might have happened in the past.
Yeah. I love that you just even acknowledge that. I've had it happen to me, and it typically happens when you're out. Like when I'm in a restaurant is when it's going to happen, or I'm over at a friend's house or whatever, because you have less control on timing outside of maybe, tackling your waiter or waitress and just like, give me the food now. Because you can't get it there any faster, and you don't want to give yourself the insulin and not know what's going to happen with that.
Absolutely.
If somebody who's never pre-bolused, right, gets on a call with you, and they say, okay, where do I start? What is this, like the smallest first step that they could take in a safe way?
Really, I need to take a step back with that and understand like what their concerns are about it. Because like I said, if it is fear of lows, that's a different conversation for me than, hey doc, like I heard about this. Tell me, like, what about it? What's the timing? What do I have to do? Like, I think that's different conversations. And I often
that's a safety rail.
I often deal with these fear of lows. And so oftentimes it might be, let's start with one meal a day where you're going to be up and you're going to be around other people, and you might have your CGM on, and your spouse is following you on the CGM. Like you have this safety buffer. If you want to do it before you come in the office. And so like, that I'm here, whatever it might be, there's this safety buffer of like one time a day. Let's just try that.
Okay.
And oftentimes people are like, well, I know that this is a meal I regularly eat. I'll try it with that because I kind of know what usually happens with that meal.
Okay.
So I often start from there and allow that to be something that you might get used to, or at least willing to try a few times and see what happens.
I wish this wasn't true, but the amount of times that I have gone to my doctor and asked like, hey, so how do I do this? And the answer is like, well, it's actually going to be different for you than it is for a lot of other people. So you're going to have to experiment a little bit. I'm like, I just want a straight answer. Like, I wish it was there, but it's because we're all so different. We're not eating the same things at the same time. We have different insulins and all of that. I would imagine that there are times where you would tell somebody not to pre-bolus, right?
Yes. And there are certainly scenarios in which like this is a general rule, and a general rule doesn't mean that it's for everybody. It's not 100% of people or 100% of the time.
Right.
There's people who live with gastroparesis and therefore their body is absorbing what they eat a heck of a lot slower than it used to before they had this. And so they don't need that insulin to work at the same time as somebody else. I hinted earlier the food that you're eating, if you're having a meal that's primarily protein and fat, it might be something a little bit different than if you're having a straight pure carb meal.
Right.
And so there's many variability. Also exercise, the timing of your exercise. Did you exercise right before you ate? What you're doing. There's many, many variables. And the number of times that I've sat with a patient and been like, I wish that this was just a straightforward rule and I could tell you exactly what to do. And they would want that so badly. And it's not the case, which is a great thing and also a hard thing.
Yeah. We all wish it was straightforward, but it's like, it was actually fairly freeing when I realized they weren't just saying that to me because they didn't know. It was like, no, it's like, there's not really this super straight answer. It's going to be really, my doctor encouraged me to take really small steps toward it. If I was going to pre-bolus, start 5 minutes before, as opposed to 15 or 20, like start there, see how that goes. Take some time. Don't pre-bolus the whole amount. If you're afraid of dropping low, split that and if you would have given 3 units, give 1 and see, did that help?
Absolutely. Sounds like you have a great endo. I have done any and all of that with patients. And sometimes it's like, hey, when you sit down to eat, try it then. It's certainly better than 30 minutes later. What a wonderful thing to start and try. Nothing has to be exact and nothing has to be perfect. And it's just moving it to the spot that you feel comfortable with. And I completely agree. Starting lower and moving it up is a wonderful thing.
Okay, so I think it's the diabetes. Is it Diabetes Care Journal, Diabetes Journal? I forget which one it is. I read a study recently that was talking about, because I was doing this research on pre-bolusing, and you find other peripheral. This isn't in the notes, by the way. You find all these other things out about it along the way. You're like, oh, I didn't realize that. And part of one of these clinical studies that they did found that the people that they surveyed and they watched, 27% of the time, people forgot to bolus at all. It was after the meal is done, and considerably later, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I totally forgot." And that at first, I was shocked. I'm like, "Oh, how do you forget it?" Well, wait a minute, I forget. And it's like you don't realize how many, like just like you said, the vitamin D. Like sometimes we just forget to do it, and that's not like a strike against you. It's just we're busy people. We're humans.
You're humans. I feel like that's what we often forget of like, I must do this and I have to do it this way. And they told me it's this. Like, no, these are guidelines. We know outcome data. We know what might help and what might be neutral or whatever. And we're all human and we're all working towards it. So that's a really great thing to point out. And I at the end of the day, I used to have patients come in to say like, I'm so afraid that you're going to yell at me today. Like I have never yelled at you. And I completely understand why you feel that way. Like there's been shame in doctor's appointments and that feeling of, oh gosh, what are they going to say? And that's where I feel like that relationship really needs to be repaired, and where I come in with patients to be like, it's totally fine. Let's just talk about what your goals are, and I can help you give recommendations to get there.
Okay. So you just hit something. What you're doing with Blue Circle Health, I believe, is so drastically different than the standard of care for people living with type 1 diabetes, what you get in your endo appointment. And you said it, like there's so much shame that they have that carries into that dread of being with an endo. Do you think that gets in the way of somebody trying a new habit like pre-bolusing when they're dealing with all of this guilt and all of this shame, and they're afraid that you're going to yell at them? And obviously you're not. If anybody knows you, they know you're not going to, but they still carry that with them. Do you think that gets in the way?
I think it gets in the way of wanting to come to the endo appointment, of wanting to hear what I would have to say, understandably, due to fear of that, of real previous experience. I also think that it possibly opens the door to allowing community in, and of trusting that I might listen to what other people are doing and what other people experience. And there could be some change and some movement that way. But there needs to be trust in all directions, and rebuilding that is going to take a lot of time, and it is worth all of that every minute. And so I often spend a lot of time really repairing relationships with patients at Blue Circle Health. And I feel like it's not so much coming in and being like, here's my clinical rec. Like, of course I'm doing that. But a lot of it is just, how do you talk to your endo? How can you advocate for yourself? What are questions to ask? What are ways to repair it? How to change your doctor if it's not the right fit for you? Those are a lot of the convos that I'm having.
Oh my gosh. You do realize how different that is from the standard. Like I don't even get to talk to my endo that way. You guys are even talking about a little bit about how much community really does play a part. Like, I don't want to say prescribing community, but it doesn't cost anything. But how important is community and these connections and understanding how to handle type 1 on your own, as opposed to come into the doctor's office and we're going to check off the boxes for these medicines and that's it. You're doing things a lot differently, I think, than what that the model of care actually looks like out there for people living with type 1.
Right. The pure standards of care from the ADA state all of this, right? And so it's no different, but it's really hard to do in practice in our current system, right? There's not reimbursement and there's not support and there's not the ability to have all of this. And that's what we're trying to change and advocate for. But really what I think is so important is, even in my previous life, I defined care as, you come to my office and we have a clinical appointment and great, I gave you care and you got care. And I'm ashamed, but also really proud now that I realize that that is not the case. And I'm very humbled to say that I've learned that care is so much more than what I can provide you in the room. That care for you is making sure that you can keep your lights on, that you can pay your electricity bill, that you can come and afford your appointments. It's also having someone in your corner who can talk about distress regarding diabetes. It is making sure that you have a community, whatever you define as community, whether it's talking with people online anonymously or whether it's forming a giant group of people that you go and talk to with type 1 diabetes, or a mom who lives with it, or whatever it might be. It's all of that. It's understanding your insurance. All of that is care. And so when we define care so narrowly, as we do, I think, in our country, we miss the opportunity for what patients deserve to thrive with type 1 diabetes. And that is so meaningful.
If we could get Hans Zimmer to write the score underneath what you just said, that would be a sweeping, epic monologue. My gosh, we have lulled ourselves to sleep based off of what the system says we have and can have access to.
Yes.
We've lowered our eyes. We have not lifted up and gone, wait a minute, could this be different? What you're talking about shouldn't be revolutionary, but it actually is, because the system just takes so much. It doesn't support the way that we need it to.
Absolutely. It doesn't give you what you need to thrive. It doesn't give the patient what they deserve. And to be honest, for those healthcare providers listening, it's not doing the same for us either. We need the support in order to give the patient everything that they need. And we are a one-stop shop often in my private practice, and there needs to be more than that. We need to have endocrinologists working with educators, working with case managers, knowing the community that's out there. And patients deserve that from us.
Yeah. Okay. That's the word right there. For the longest time, Doc, I wouldn't allow myself to say I deserve better care. But that's true. You do deserve it.
You do deserve it. You deserve better care. This country deserves better care and a better way to treat people living with type 1 diabetes. We have to do better, and we're working for it.
Oh my gosh, mic drop right there. Okay. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back with some true or false. We're going to come back with the diabetes confession booth and all sorts of fun stuff. How about that?
All right. Love it. Can't wait.
All right.
True or false? Fast answers, clear thinking. Let's test those myths.
Well, last time we did true or false, I guess college, whatever. Grad school.
With my 6-year-old, Neil, with my 6-year-old.
Okay. All right. You're going to be primed and ready for this. Okay.
Yes.
First true or false question. Most people who dose late for their insulin aren't lazy. True or false?
They are not lazy. They are not lazy. I will fight anyone on that. No, that is epically true. They are not lazy. I didn't know which way you went.
Okay. No, you're right. Okay. So tell me about that. Why? Because there are people who think, oh my gosh, I'm just a bad diabetic, or I'm just lazy. I didn't do it. No.
Oh my gosh. No. You are a human being. You are making hundreds of decisions every single day. You are treating yourself and really getting everything for yourself and advocating for what you need. This is one piece of a million different things going on in your life, and you are not lazy. You are doing your best. Nothing is perfect, and you are doing a great job. And we are here to support. If there's fear around it, let's talk about it. But you are not doing anything wrong, and let's work on it together.
Okay. All right. Good. Number 2. Earlier is always better when it comes to pre-bolusing.
That is false. The timing around the pre-bolus is important, and that can vary. It varies based on the food you're eating, the exercise, your fear, your concerns. I think getting a pre-bolus in is wonderful. And that's check mark. You've done a great job today.
Right. Yeah. Good for you. Yeah. Gold star.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
But it's also not the end of the world if you can't, if you don't.
Exactly.
Like, you don't need to beat yourself up.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yep. And you are not doing anything wrong. I think all of that is good, and all of that is important, and everyone is individual. And I know that's what we were talking about earlier. That can be really hard, that there's not a one-stop answer. But it's also part of the beauty of it, that everyone is individual.
Right. In the words of Sarah Lerner, it's just one tool in your toolkit. You have a tool. You know, she loves to say toolkit.
Sarah.
Shout out Sarah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. Number 3. You, as an endo, can see mealtime rises on a patient's CGM and know whether or not they pre-bolus.
A lot of the time I can.
Oh my gosh, I wondered.
I know. Not always. Of course, not always.
Yeah, right.
But a lot of the time I'm like, oh, I see it. And we can talk about it, or we can not talk about it. But it's not like, oh, I see it, and this is exactly the pre-bolus, and this is what's missed. But it's something that we see as a pattern, and we might bring up, and might be something that we can, see what might help you with, and figure it out from there.
What does that look like? I'm not saying like categorically tell me what that, but I mean, I'm assuming that it's that rise, and then there's wow, there's so many things there. I don't want to answer this question for you. I'm going to shut up. I'm not the doctor. What does that look like on a CGM?
Oftentimes it looks like a sustained like a rise in your blood sugar. So you're seeing hyperglycemia, and then you're seeing a delayed hypoglycemia, delayed low after. And the reason for that is because the food's not aligning with the insulin. And so your blood sugar is rising with the food, your insulin is rising later. And so you already had a peak. And then because your insulin is working later, I'm off screen now, because your insulin is working later, it's going to drop you potentially with lows. That can actually sometimes be worse with a pump who's in automated mode. Sometimes it helps, but sometimes it actually, because it's going to give you those corrections for the high that you now have, sometimes then you're stacking unintentionally and not by your own accord. And so we can see that often. And we see, you might have seen this number on your AGP report, the coefficient of variation, or CV. And that's a number that basically tells you, are you on a roller coaster? Do you see a lot of these ups and downs? And oftentimes we see that with that scenario because of the highs and lows that you're having.
Masterclass right there. Okay. That's good. I think also what I hear a lot of people say is, I thought my pump would just pick it up and do that.
Yeah.
There are people that are on a pump that think they don't need to pre-bolus. That's not always true. I think pre-bolusing can still help, whether you're on MDI or if you're on an insulin pump, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you think about it, oftentimes you're putting the exact same insulin in the pump that you had given via your syringe before you were put on a pump. And so if you think about it, that insulin still needs time to work. Yeah. That baseline insulin that's happening around with your pump is your basal insulin that is not the same. Granted, pumps have come a really long way and they are making adjustments. And so that's why a lot of times people might rightfully think that like, I had a spike and it helped me. Wonderful. Great. That's what pumps are meant to do. And they're only getting better.
Yeah.
But a pre-bolus will help in that direction as well, because it's not going to replace the fact that the pump can't tell when you ate. And so both are good in combination.
Yeah. Pumps are smart. Those little robots, they got to do what we tell them to do. They're good at a lot of math, but they also don't know what those input. They don't know exactly when you're eating. And if they see that start to rise, they're playing catch up after that point.
They absolutely are. Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, the healthcare system is failing people with type 1 more than the people are failing themselves.
100% true. Could not be truer. The healthcare system is designed in the way that it was designed, certainly not with the intention to make it more difficult and more expensive and harder, but it is. And it is certainly doing that every single day for patients. And the way that we've built our healthcare system is making it more expensive and less accessible, and less supportive of those with type 1 diabetes. It is not taking into account what people need to thrive. It is not taking into account that it is a self-managed condition where you're making all the decisions yourself and therefore need the tools in the tool belt from an educator, from those who really know, from those who've lived through the condition, from all of that. And so education doesn't exist. Community might be hard to find because your endocrinologist may not know about it. And so putting it all together is really important. And so it is never a failure of my patients. It is a failure of the system designed to help them, and it is not doing what it should be.
It's in the words of so many incredible people that are out there advocating for better care, it is that we're getting exactly out of the system what it's designed to give us.
Exactly. We are getting exactly what it was designed to do, and it needs to be fixed. It is not helping us in the way that it should.
That's a left hook from Dr. Monica Gomberg right there. That's what that was. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to the diabetes confession booth.
Welcome to the diabetes confession booth. 60 seconds to drop some facts. No judgment, only family in it.
You basically are going in here to say something quietly into the void that no one will ever hear. You're safe. No one will ever hear this.
No one will hear this.
Yeah, no one will ever hear it. So the question I want to ask you, and if you need a second to think about this, you can. What is the most human, least doctor-like thing that you have done in an appointment with a patient? Where you throw the doctor hat off to the side and you're just like, I gotta just treat you like a human being right now.
So many things crossed my mind. I lived through my engagement, my marriage, 2 pregnancies, deliveries, a death with my patients, and they've all been there for me along the way. And I feel like as I'm saying this, there's a moment that really threw out the white coat. And it was, and I hate to get dark here, but it is a confessional booth. So I live in Pittsburgh, as I mentioned, and there was the Tree of Life massacre in my community 20 minutes from where I live. And it affected 1 degree of separation and from everyone who knew everyone here. And so we were very personally affected, and I was very personally affected. And I went to work the next day, and my patient showed up who is a police officer and whose husband is a police officer who was there helping people. And I just cried with her, and I hugged her, and I thanked her. And I think there's just this moment of acknowledging that we're all human in that room, that I am there for the patient first and foremost, but the patients lift me up along the way. And I was so grateful to see her for being there for me and for the people that I love, and just remembering that we are a community, and that this is not just a provider-patient relationship, that we are one, and that really, it was a really moving moment for me. And that's the first thing that sticks out in my mind as you asked that, actually.
That's amazing.
It was a hard moment for me.
It's like in those moments, I know there's clinically we're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. And I know that there is a system, but I think the fact that you can acknowledge that in that moment, we may not be able to fix every single thing here with you right now, but I'm not leaving you in this alone. I'm going to be right here in the tears, in the pain of it, in the frustration of it. I'm not leaving. We'll figure this out together. I get that from you.
Absolutely. There's fear always. And I think you're talking, I remember talking to this 82-year-old woman who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. She has lived a very long and healthy life. Yes. And I diagnosed her with LADA, with type 1 diabetes. And like life changed, like everything she knew. She's raised kids and grandkids and great grandkids. And it was just this moment of like, what? Like this life of changing moment for everyone at your diagnosis story. And for her, I just remember, closing my computer and just sitting next to her and taking her hand and being like, we will work through this. We will figure this out together and we will help you. And your son is here and he is here for you. And all of us just were there in that moment. And that's when we throw out, the fact that doctors only care about numbers and only care about your A1C. And that is not the case. We're here for one another. And I mean, they help me grow and be a better doctor and a better person. And that at the end of the day is what is so incredible about what we all do and what we're here for.
I love that. There are titles, right, that you earned. You went to school. All of your hard work, your effort, your energy are in those letters after your name, but you're also a human being with real emotions, with real empathy. And that awareness that you have, I think is really, really cool. It's like, that's your superpower. It absolutely is. I wish I could get everybody to sign. How do we get them? You can't handle everybody. How many type 1s are there? There's about 2 million. 2 million. Oh, look, there's endo deserts everywhere. I'm trying to get everybody over here. I'm like, if we could all have a doctor like you, it would be incredible.
There are so many good ones out there. There are so many opportunities to connect. And I feel like many people have had very difficult stories. And I acknowledge that is not the truth. And that is not the lived experience. But I encourage you to really advocate for what you need. And not everyone's a good fit for I'm not a good fit for everyone. And people switch between doctors all the time and find what you need and don't stop until you do.
I told somebody yesterday, they're leaving their peds endo and they're getting an adult endo. And they're asking my advice on it. I said, you are interviewing them.
Yes.
You don't just have to go. You ask questions when you go into find the right one who is going to be the best fit for you and your family. You want somebody who is pulling for you. They're a coach. They're there to help you.
Yes.
You can interview them. Like it's okay.
100%. And they don't want you to be unhappy. Like if you are unhappy with how they're providing care, oh my gosh, by all means, please be happy and please feel safe with your provider. So I agree. It is an interview and it is your choice and your life.
The fastest 5 minutes of your life starts now. Quick questions, sharper answers, bragging rights pending. Just you versus every other guest.
You're the first person that gets a second shot at this.
Oh, good.
We already talked before we hit record. Your number is at 15. Okay, you got 15 right.
Yep.
Right now, the standing, they're tied. Right now, it's Katie Beth Hand and Amanda Mueller, bolus and biceps. They are both at 28. That seems ridiculous. There's no cheating. There's no doping. They're not on like some crazy. They just answered questions.
They're girl power. I love it.
But it's so fun to get these answers from you. So we're going to start the clock. I'm going to turn my volume up here, and we are going to give you 5 minutes on the clock.
All right.
And your goal is to answer as many questions as you possibly can in less than 5 minutes. So,
okay.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. Number 1, endocrinology in one word.
Amazing.
Oh, number 2, coffee, tea, or no caffeine?
No caffeine.
Oh my gosh. All right. Number 3, corner brownie or middle brownie?
Middle.
You're a psycho. What are you talking about? Number 4, most overrated thing in diabetes care.
The most overrated thing in diabetes care is that everyone has to do it the same way and be on the same technology.
Okay. I thought you were going to say cinnamon, but you didn't. Number 5, most underrated thing in diabetes care.
Cinnamon. I'm kidding. The most underrated thing in diabetes care is your relationship with your endocrinologist.
Okay. Number 6, if a turtle loses its shell, is it naked or is it homeless?
It's unhomed.
Oh, it's not even off. Number 7, favorite thing that a patient has ever said to you.
Oh, the favorite thing they've ever said to me is that they're just so proud of themselves for what they've come from their last appointment or from the time that we started together. My favorite.
Okay. Number 8, the phrase that you use to make a nervous patient relax.
That this is a judgment-free zone, and that I am here to listen to you, and this is your hour together, and we will do and talk about what it is that you need to talk about.
Okay, amazing. Number 9, what's the weirdest low snack you've seen a patient swear by?
I think I answered this last time, that people said chicken, which is not a good low snack.
No, that's not good. No.
Not a good low snack.
That is weird, though. That is weird.
Yes.
Number 10, A1C or time in range. If you could only look at one, which one do you look at? Okay. Number 11, what is the best part of your job that nobody sees?
Oh my God. The people that I work with.
Okay. Number 12, what chip do you make a walking taco with? Fritos or Doritos?
Oh, Fritos.
Oh my. Oh, I didn't expect that. All right. Number 13, you're an outlier. How do you tie your shoes? One loop or bunny ears?
Oh, yeah, and I do bunny ears and I get made fun of.
I cannot believe this. I'm learning so much about you. Number 14, would you rather have unlimited tacos or ice cream?
Tacos.
All right. Number 15, Fiasp, Liumjev, or good old faithful, reliable, rapid-acting insulins?
Am I allowed to say this? Don't listen. The good old rapid acting.
Good old rapid acting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's the majority of us anyways. Okay. Number 16, the tech that you're most excited about right now.
I am most excited about the pump advancements just in general, and the ability for them to take on new things and allow patients to be a little more hands-off if they need to.
Yeah. Number 17, would you rather live in outer space or under the sea?
Outer space.
Absolutely. The ocean terrifies me. Number 18, if you could whisper one sentence to anyone who's living with type 1, what would it be?
I am so freaking proud of you.
Oh, number 19, you're already crushing your old score. If endocrinology had a mascot, what is it?
Endocrinologist Neil Greathouse.
Oh my gosh, so white. Okay, number 20. One thing you wish every primary care doctor knew about type 1.
I wish they knew how to refer to an endocrinologist and could refer to an endocrinologist. They know how, but it's could. Yeah.
Okay, number 21. The compliment that means the most from a patient.
That I heard them, that I listened.
Oh, okay. Number 22, scale of 1 to 10. How good is your sleep right now?
Like a solid 6.
Okay, I was going to say, all right, we have room for improvement there. All right, number 23, should cereal be considered a soup?
I don't like it with milk, so no.
Oh, all right, dry cereal. Okay, number 24, what is a medical show you can actually stand to watch?
The Pit, a million times.
I knew it was coming! I knew it. Okay. Number 25. If you weren't an endocrinologist, what would you be?
A yoga teacher.
No, these are all layups. Okay. Number 26. What do you wish patients would stop apologizing for?
For their blood sugars, for whatever they're about to show me. There's no need to apologize.
Okay. Number 27. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Number 28. The habit you wish most people would build?
Drink more water.
Okay, number 29, one book every newly diagnosed adult should read.
Oh, my time is up.
That's it. No. That one still counts because I called it out.
This is coming off my kids. I would say, oh my gosh, what is the name of this book? We read it all the time and I'm totally forgetting because the timer went off. Epically failing. Bodies are cool. You know why? Because there's just all bodies featured, including insulin pumps. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I want people to know that like, that everyone is around them, that people are like them. This is not different, and they should not be scared to be them and be loud and be themselves and wear their CGM. And I just love bodies are cool because
bodies are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yes.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, 29. We have a new winner. Okay, you get the gold star for most improved. You went from 15 last time to Chatty Cathy 29
That's
now.
Right. You know what I've been doing every day since the last time we talked? I've been having my husband ask me so many questions. No.
Oh my gosh. People take this way too serious. This is amazing. I'm going to start having to write out more questions. I had 40 prepped for you, but nobody's even gotten that close.
Wow.
Okay.
Next
29.
time. Neil. Next
All right. Okay. Parting shot here, Doc. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. I believe you. It's probably one of the best compliments that anyone could ever say.
Yeah.
Is that I believe you. And when you talk, when you advocate, when you teach, when you're listening, you are so all in. What would you say to the person who's out there living with type 1, or maybe they're a caregiver, maybe their spouse or somebody in their family has type 1, and they feel like they're failing at this? What do you say if you had a chance to look them in the eye?
Yeah, first off, thank you so much. That means the absolute world to me. And I feel like I say this to them all the time, and I experience this with them all the time, is that you are doing a great job, and that this is hard. And this is what I say. And this is hard. This is not easy. And you are doing something every single day that takes a lot from you, and that you are not alone in it, and that I will help you, and that others are here and we can connect you to them. And that there's a community that can surround you in this. But I think that that is what really lands with them. I often see the fear in their eyes and the fact that they're doing this by themselves. And I think acknowledging that hardness and that fear and the loneliness is really important.
Yeah, it can be lonely sometimes, or isolating. I think loneliness is the byproduct of some of that. So you feel isolated.
Yes.
The community side of type 1 diabetes is one of the best things that has ever happened to me.
God.
It's the thing I ran from at the beginning because I didn't want the label.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have a group, but I didn't realize how much I needed to belong somewhere where someone understood me, and I didn't have to explain some of that. That sense of belonging, when you open up your eyes and realize that there are millions of us who are doing the exact same thing. You're not alone. Yes. You are absolutely not alone.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
The power of this community, I have never seen anything like it.
No doubt.
It is incredible, and it hugs you, and it smiles with you, and it laughs with you, and it pokes jokes when you need to laugh, and it cries when you need to cry. And I'm in awe of it. And I love being even on the sidelines of it. It's incredible.
They can get kind of spicy sometimes too, if I'm being totally honest.
Sure they do.
Real spicy.
Sure they do. As they should. Fire up a little bit.
Yeah,
that's okay too. You might
They're very protective. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I know that people have heard me talk about Blue Circle Health a lot. If I just had to tee it up for you a little bit, where can people find it? And then also, I know that you guys are in the process of building a movement. We've already proven that it works. Your model of care, your what you are doing it's being proven, right? We know, but now comes the movement side of it. So what would you say to somebody on that side? They're like, this thing seems like it's real. What do you say to them?
Yeah. So 2 parts. One, in order to access us, www.bluecirclehealth.org. People say www these days. Bluecirclehealth.org.
No, okay. I won't even trim that out.
Yeah, great. So bluecirclehealth.org. It's really, go to our website. You find ways to get involved in the movement, which I'll speak to, but also ways to sign up. Also ways where healthcare providers can refer their patients to be part of this. And when I say be part of this, I mean also, be part of the program, get the help and wraparound care that they need, and help support the healthcare providers in the grinds as well. But being part of the movement, you can also do that from the website. And what we mean by that is what we were talking about earlier, the fact that care is incredibly important, this wraparound. And when I define care, I mean all of that, right? Care is really important, but changing the system is what's going to get everyone what they deserve and what they need in the long run. And we can do that together. I truly believe that we can do that. We work with other organizations to build advocacy, to make sure that we are getting out there to say, here's what will make life better. Here's what will make the standards of care have applicability in all these different places. And here's what will make reimbursement happen for those who are doing jobs so that there are more educators out there, and making sure that there's not barriers to care in any way. So all of that is part of the movement, but also just being here with each other and getting into the same space, making sure that every community in the type 1 diabetes field is working with one another, because we're all here for the same cause at the end of the day. And so that's the beauty of it. And I think we can all be behind that, and it will go a very long way.
Yeah. They can get care from Blue Circle Health, but they can also give care. They can also refer people as well. Yep. There's a lot of different ways to do it.
Get care, give care, donate to the cause, help other people get the care that they so desperately need. And then also just be a part of it with us and figure out how we can advocate and take the next step forward. Yeah.
Doc, you are a bright spot, not just on my calendar for today, but just in this community. And I appreciate the heck out of you. Thank you.
Feel the same about you every day. Thank you, Neil. Thank you for opening this up to me. And thank you for being part of my community. I'm really, really happy to be here with you.
World record holder, Dr. Monica Gomberg right now at 29.
That's
so
right.
Good.
That's the show. Follow the BDs on Instagram and the BDs on TikTok. Join the newsletter for giveaways and helpful tips. And visit yourbestt1dyear.com. You're out there doing it, stacking those wins.